Folks, welcome to another Talk with Diego. And today we have Andy Galashahi, sales and marketing expert, co-founder and vice president of one of the nation's leading ad agency companies. And today we're going to talk about how to transform your business with digital marketing. Andy, welcome, man. Very nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, I mean, we told our folks, our listeners, a little bit about yourself, your experience within this industry, but really, we just want to tell the average small to medium-sized business the importance of digital marketing in today's day and age, where most of the consumers are having 2, 3, 4 screens in front of them every single day. But give our listeners a little about yourself.
Yeah, sure.
And let's talk about digital marketing.
Yeah, my name is Andy Galashahi. I'm the co-founder and vice president of a leading digital marketing company by the name of Search Pro Systems. Our core focus is to provide small businesses access to high-quality creative marketing that's designed to perform, not just look pretty. So we like to focus on 3 main areas, making sure that our clients always look amazing, making sure they're engaging clients with great communication, content, and then third, making sure that they're highly visible on both social and search.
Okay. And you use a key word there, highly visible. When you look at a business, you walk into a business for the first time, what are some of the things that you right away look at?
Well, there's a variety of situations that I'll walk into. I will walk in and let's say it's the business, a really small business. Say the business owner is trying to handle it themselves. They say, well, I have social media. I say, well, can you elaborate? They'll say, I have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, well, let me take a look. And I'll be in their office and I'll look on my phone and, or I'll do a lot of research before our meeting and I'll find out that having a social media profile is great. It's a good start, but it doesn't mean you're actually using it to try to build your brand, drive clients and things like that. So when I meet with someone, if they're doing it themselves, say they're a small business, they're doing everything themselves. They'll say, hey, I got a Wix website. I got a Facebook page. I got a blog. You pull up the blog, you see they haven't made a post in 2 years. That in that situation where let's say it's an under 10 person company, I will go in, learn, most importantly, not focusing on the tools in the tool belt. I always give people this analogy.
Yeah.
When you want a house built, you hire the team, the contractors to build the house. The tools in the tool belt, the drill, the hammer, the screwdriver, all that good stuff, the measuring tape, those are the tools to give you the end result, which is the home. So when I meet with a business owner, I focus on building the vision, building the story, understanding where the client wants to go and what their challenges have been in the past and what they have tried. So sometimes they're trying to do everything themselves.
Wow.
So by themselves. So again, managing their blog, trying to have a social media page, maybe making one post every 3 months, which is not the way to do it. So I come in, learn their goal, and then present how my team can work seamlessly with them and act as their marketing department. So about 20 people acting, literally making sure that the client always looks great and stuff like that. Then on the flip side, I'll meet with a small to medium-sized business, and you'll see this a lot. You'll see I'm the marketing coordinator, or I'm the marketing manager, I'm the marketing director. You meet with them, and sometimes, believe it or not, the business owner tells that one person, you're responsible for everything. Now, in a situation where someone wants to keep their job, they want to perform, most of the time they're not going to go to the owner and go, I can't do this. But at the end of the day, we always hear jack of all trades is a master of none. We've all heard that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So it's a situation, it gets a little hairy because behind closed doors, if the business owner isn't there, the marketing manager or coordinator or director is going to come to me and say, I need help. Literally like a whisper like that.
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah.
So when I have to get together with the owner too, the final decision maker, I need to position it that in a way that we are going to work seamlessly with Mr. or Miss Marketing Coordinator. We're not replacing them. Because sometimes you can see the business owner's gears are turning. You know that they're thinking possibly, why do I need this person?
100%.
And I do not advocate that. I don't push that. I don't want anybody to lose their job. And my team actually prefers to have an in-house person there because they can act as the conductor. We're the orchestra. We can bring some expertise to the table, but I want it needs to come off like a team effort. So there's two sections. You have the small business owner who doesn't have any marketing people to help them. Then you have the marketing coordinator who really can't handle everything on their own.
themselves.
But and I don't want to get too much into my company. I want to talk more about digital marketing.
Digital marketing,
but just to get an understanding what my firm does, that's what we do. We work seamlessly with our clients to support them to make sure they always look great, communicating with their clients and maintaining the highest level of visibility.
Yeah. Guys, so get something to take notes on. Get a pen or pencil ready. I'm a small business owner here. We're going to ask Andy some questions to identify some of the things that we should be doing today, right? How to get some of this stuff ready, why we need to do it. I want to get some information about some statistics about how the market is moving out there. So get some stuff ready because I'm going to dive in. This guy right here has a lot of knowledge on how to take your business, your personal brand to a whole new level using tools and strategies that can be implemented from a computer. Literally, you can get in front of what your ideal customer is through a computer. And I think this is a very powerful tool that we're going to dive in here with Andy. So Andy, let's just assume brand new business, no website, no social media.
Clean slate.
Clean slate. Where should I start?
So the first thing you want to do is, let's say you don't have a name. Do you have a name?
No name.
No name.
Yeah, we want to take our folks through some basic steps.
Process.
Yeah, very high level.
Absolutely.
Guys, a little nugget here. Andy's going to become a very close contributor to what we're doing here. One of the things that we want to do is bring to you, the small business owner, tips, ideas, how-tos to make sure that we leave you better than when you were yesterday. So yeah, let's just take everybody through a high-level overview. They're starting from zero, no name, nothing.
So if you don't have a name, you want to obviously do a little homework. Sometimes people pick names that are very close to them. Sometimes they'll use something really basic like initials of their name. You have to remember, when you're selling to a specific group of people, you need to first, before choosing a name or saying I like the name XYZ, you need to first think about who your market is, who you're selling to. That's the first main thing you need to be focusing on.
Yeah.
Then you need to kind of step back and research what will resonate with them. What will get your point across? What will connect with your market? Then you need to look at things like, are you going to mix two words together? As you've heard, like infotainment, things like that, where you mix two words.
Two words, yeah.
So entertainment and information. So like some people will you'll see brands out there that mix two names.
Two names, yeah.
You'll see brands out there that just use the wackiest name, like the famous ones like Google and other weird names like that, where a good thing to keep in mind is if you want to do it as cost effective as possible, you got big funding and you can fund a huge branding campaign, you can pick a wacky name. Rule of thumb is the stranger your name is, the more marketing and advertising and promotion and just pure branding you're going to have to do to make people relate what you do with your brand. It's all about making an impression on the brain. The more simple and clear your name is, its rule of thumb is less. You have to do less convincing or selling that your brand does this. So when I chose my company's name, I did a ton of research. Back when we started the firm, search was huge. And by the way, a lot of people discount search or organic, and we'll get into that after. But so like when I created the company, I named the company Search Pro Systems because I always believed that a marketing company that had a system that they followed that worked,
Yep.
but tweaked some of the language based on who they're speaking to in respect to content, were set up for success versus just throwing oatmeal against the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you create a name, you want, like when I created the name, so I put Search Pro for professionals. So we were really focused on search at the time.
Yeah, that was the core of your business.
AdWords.
Yeah.
You know, and later on Google Local, all that stuff. You know, Google Maps and all that, and just natural listings on Google. All of that stuff really mattered. It was really hot back then. So we started our company in 2007. So I said, okay, I really like a company that has systems, and I'm not going to BS. I used to work for a high-tech marketing company back in 2005, 2006, and I remember one of my clients was Sun Microsystems, and I was sitting at my desk, and I was like, man, that name rolls off my tongue.
Yeah.
I would be on the phone with people. I'd be like, hey, I'm calling on behalf of Sun Microsystems, and when I would say the name, the way it rolled off my tongue, because the amount of syllables your name has, believe it or not, is going to impact. So they say the less syllables, the better. So Search Pro Systems, it's 4 syllables, it's good. If you have a 7-syllable name and it's not a financial company, I don't know.
No.
I wouldn't recommend that. So you want to keep your syllables low. So that's another thing to pay attention to. So, the relevance of your name, what is your name all about? If there's anything that's close to you that you're passionate about, try to integrate it within the name carefully. Then the next thing you want to pay attention, aside from syllables, is your color palette. I don't want to get too detailed here, but so like when my company rebrands a business or creates a brand from scratch, we pay attention to what's referred to as psychological triggers associated with a color palette. So I'll give you some basic ones. So like orange and blue symbolize energy. Mild greens.
Red is usually power, right?
Yeah, I don't have the index in front of me, so I do apologize. But
no, that's fine. I totally get where you're coming with this. Yeah. Totally. No, dude, just keep going.
You gotta edit this.
So business name, color palette.
So your business name, the actual name, you have to decide if it's gonna be very strange. You got to do a hell of a lot of branding, and it doesn't mean you can't. But just remember, people are gonna go, "What do you do?" Some people like a wacky name because it invites people to say, "What do you do?"
Yeah.
There's different strategies. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So Andy, business names. Make sure your syllables are short. And let's, as we're talking through this, let's use our lawn care and landscape maintenance business as an example.
Okay.
Right. Our name is 3 Seasons.
3 Seasons. Okay, that's good.
And one of the reasons why we wanted to select that name, it's because we only work 3 seasons out of the 4.
Okay.
Our business completely shuts down over winter. So if you were to grade our name, what would you give it?
I'd give it an A-.
A-.
I'm keeping it real.
No. That's pretty good.
It's an A.
Yeah.
From a level of creativity.
Yeah.
So if one of my employees came to me and says, "Hey, I came up with the name 3 Seasons Landscaping." Is it 3 Seasons Landscaping?
No. It's just 3 seasons. But then there is a slogan that goes into lawn care and landscape maintenance.
Okay. Perfect. So that's more of your description line
Yes.
that describes your business.
Yes.
So you have like a slogan, a tagline, and then you also have your main header of your name. So 3 Seasons, it's simple. I guess when people can realize that you are a landscaping company, that they'll put 2 and 2 together. But I like the syllables. I like the name. I would just leave it the way it is, man. I wouldn't change it.
Love it. We're good so far.
That's a brand that I would feel comfortable with. So you get into when you create a name, you get into a lot of psychological elements. So when you say the name, you need to say the name in your head and say it out loud.
The stickiness of it, right?
3 seasons. Does that sound like a brand? Does that sound like something that I would see, on a billboard, or I would see online everywhere? Is it a dominant brand? Is it positioned to be successful? It's the same way as if you look at someone playing a sport, and let's say they're not in the minor leagues or the pros yet, but let's say it's a little league, and you're watching the kids play or whatever, and you say, wow, that third baseman, he's skilled.
Mm-hmm.
You know that he may have a brighter future in sports than, let's say, someone else. So you can look at the elements and then decide, okay, is this set up for success? Every step when you're creating a brand or you're creating a digital marketing plan in writing or whatever, every step you need to envision why that's going to be successful, what hiccups you might run into.
Got it. And I'm gonna let you mentioning this stuff. I want to give you guys a quick example. Our first year, when we were just testing the market to see if this was something that we even wanted to get into, and that will be a conversation for later, research before you actually even start a business to see if it's even feasible. But our first name was Manchester Mowing Company. And dude, there's a reason why it's not around. Number one, that I kept getting all the time was we were getting calls about people that wanted to move because they saw the truck and mowing and moving are pretty close.
Wow.
Right?
That's
interesting. So they will see the truck and they quickly would have believed it was Manchester Moving Company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that name didn't last. Probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But then we started to apply some of those things. I started to do some research around naming, right? And some of the basic ideas, something that can, just the name could give a brief overview of what the business is all about.
So I can relate to that story. I'm just going to keep it real. Our original company name was not Search Pro Systems. I'm just going to say it. So thank you very much to my other Dominican friend, Rolando. I was talking to my buddy Rolando about my business that I'm starting, and we just in business for not even a year yet. And I said the name to him, and he was like, what's the name? And I said it again, and he started laughing, and he goes, man, do you know what that means in Spanish? No idea. So like, I'm half Persian.
I want to know. I want to know the name.
I'm half Persian. I'm half Irish, because everybody asks me what I am.
Yeah.
Half Persian, half Irish, and I always admired the Apple logo.
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of throwing ideas out there. At the end of the day, my business partner was an amazing web designer and an amazing search engine optimization expert, knew how to create content, and I'll give you that story later on. But at the end of the day, we had the skills, we had the capabilities to make businesses successful, and we were like, yeah, let's start a company. We're really motivated. So I'm starting to brainstorm. So I always liked this logo. I didn't want to infringe on it, obviously, but I said, what's close to, like, let's say my other half, my heritage, and what's kind of like, so the pomegranate is a really special fruit in my dad's culture, in the Persian culture. So the pomegranate has a certain look, as a shape. Yeah. And I thought, when people say the word marketing, there's so many intricate pieces to marketing that when you open up and here's the thing, I don't care, but some people have laughed when I gave them this explanation, and whatever.
No, it makes sense.
You open up a pomegranate and you got all the berries. Mm-hmm. And that's like looking at how complex marketing is. So we originally called it the Pomegranate Group. Okay. So our ad agency was called the Pomegranate Group. We did some homework and we found out there was another ad agency called Pomegranate Group in the UK. Okay. So we were scratching our heads, me and Jay, and so we said, let's change the name. I said, wait, hold up. How do you say pomegranate in Farsi? Anar. A-N-A-R.
Anar.
But...
Oh, I know. Hey, si tú eres dominicano, no estamos hablando del ano, okay?
Oh, man, Rolando. Rolando, I used to work with Rolando, and he said, he schooled me on what it meant. Yeah. And I was like, oh, my God. We had business cards and all this stuff printed up. I had folders We had a website. And I do have Spanish-speaking clients.
Yeah.
And then a woman at the bank said something. So I was like, that's it. We got to change our name. So I'm sitting there at my desk at the tech marketing company I worked at, because just give you some background, I had a full-time job when I first started the firm. We only had like 1 or 2 clients.
Yeah.
Not enough to survive on.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And I was sitting at my little cubicle on my desk, and I really admired, so the tech companies, their brands, the tech companies that were my employer's clients, I remember looking at their logos. I was like, these are beautiful. Like I like logos. Since I was a kid, I love looking at logos, business design, the brands, the color, and all that. I remember staring at the Golden Arches, going, looking at it as a kid, and I was always intrigued by the logos. And I remember looking at like Sun Microsystems logos and some of the Adobe and the other tech companies that basically I was working for, and I said, wow, I like how they design their stuff. So if you look at the Search Pro Systems logo, it's almost like techie looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did a lot of research. We came up with the name. We had the logo designed. Actually, believe it or not, I designed the rough sketch of the logo, handed it to my graphic designer, and he made it look pretty. But
awesome.
Yeah, how do we get into this?
Por el ano no se hace mercadeo.
But yeah, so we're talking about the name.
The name.
So make sure, here's the tip. So we got syllables. We're going to get into color palette, but also make sure that your name translated in all languages is okay, especially if you're going to be selling to that community.
Yeah.
You got to step back. There's a lot of Spanish-speaking people in the United States. I didn't know. I speak very little Spanish I learned in high school, and I talked to some friends.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about that word, and I had to learn the hard way.
And by the way, when I met Andy for the first time, probably like 5 years ago, maybe
longer than that.
Yeah,
man.
Maybe longer than that. One of the first things, one of the first things that came out of his mouth was, "Hey, tigre!" Whoa! There's something here. Something here. Awesome.
Yeah.
So we are on the business name. Now with all of these social websites and everything has a username.
Yeah.
Even before you pick a name and make it permanent, what are your feelings on making sure that for Twitter it matches, for Instagram it matches, for Facebook it matches? Because I've seen some companies out there that their Instagram name is different than the business name. They may add the state or the town. Will you put extra effort or tweak the name a little bit just to ensure that there is a consistency?
So if you come up with a name, you need to first obviously write it down, and then you need to do some homework. You need to spend, an afternoon or at night, whatever. Just go on the computer. You want to go to like a domain website.
Mm-hmm.
I personally go to like pairnic.com. You can go to register.com, whatever.
GoDaddy, it's popular.
It doesn't matter. Start doing your homework. Type in the name first. So my process is I first see what domains are available.
Domains.
Yeah, that should be step one, because you want to see.
So I want to some of these terms people may not be familiar with. Like domain.
Sure.
You were talking about local search and maps, right?
Totally. I gotta tone down the industry lingo. Based on my audience. So what's challenging is am I speaking to someone who doesn't know much, or am I speaking to a savvy, marketing director? So I guess I'm going to keep the conversation simple so everybody understands.
Yeah.
So a domain is your www. whatever.com, .net, .org. When you have to purchase a domain, so step one, you can say my name's going to be ABCXYZ. That's great and all. Make sure the domain's available, and that may impact whether or not you go with that name. It impacts me. I make a very big decision based on that domain availability. So I'll go to like pairnic.com or GoDaddy. I'll type in the name, see if it's available. You can click and say, give me similar names, and it'll feed a bunch of names that are similar. Once you lock down the domain that's available, buy it. And this is very important from an internet marketing standpoint. Register it for the max amount of time.
Okay. Good to know.
Because if you register it for just a year, and let's say you don't put an auto renew on it, it sort of makes your company look like it's not credible, or it's not going to be there for a long time.
Oh, can others tell that logo hasn't been? I mean, that domain hasn't. It's registered for X amount of time, and not.
People can do their homework and find out when it expires.
Interesting.
But usually, fly-by-nights. Let's say someone's doing a scam. A fly-by-night company that plans on just grabbing money and leaving. Is only going to register their domain for the minimum. So sometimes, that's taken into consideration.
Yeah.
So if you know you're going to build this business, register it for the max amount of time, 5 years. Always make sure you put an auto renew on it. You can set the privacy. So if you never have any plans on selling it and don't want to be bothered by people that
want to reach out, yeah,
and plus it's a privacy issue. You might have someone that might be looking for trouble, and they go to whois.net,
put your domain in.
Yeah, which
they get name, phone number, address.
Yeah, if you want to know something about the actual domain owner, you go to whois.net, enter in the domain, and you can get most of the time a bunch of information. When they registered the domain, when it expires,
who owns it.
Who owns it, where they registered it, basically the website where they registered it. But you want to lock down that domain first. Then you want to go on to, you want to check Twitter, Facebook, all the social media platforms, Instagram, even Snapchat, all the profiles, and register the business name. It doesn't mean you have to go nuts and start posting right away, but at least lay down your groundwork. Now you have the brand locked down, and once you have the brand locked down, you want to make sure you pick the right colors too. Then you want to hire a graphic designer if you can. If you can't, there's websites out there where you can have a bunch of graphic designers that share, that they compete for the business.
Yeah.
So you put in, I'm going to pay $200 for this logo. And again, this is if you don't have access to a graphic designer. You can go on to some type of talent pool online.
And folks, by the way, for those of you that are working on a very tiny little budget and just need something basic done, I've used a website called Fiverr.com a lot. A lot of things you could get them in there from $5 to $25. And it's a trial and error. You may work with 2 or 3 guys, but you'll find one that did a good job at a good cost, and you continue to work with them. We'll put a link to that website in the description for you to look at.
So in this industry, when it comes to digital marketing, it's one thing to bootstrap, but it's another thing if you are selling a high-ticket item. And I don't know how another way to say this, but if someone's just being cheap. So if you have a really good business with huge potential, with significant margins, and you're going to do really well, and you have adequate funding, but you don't want to invest, there's a serious issue with that. But I'm all about someone bootstrapping that truly cannot invest in something a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah.
It's better than doing nothing.
Yes.
Exactly. I tell all my clients that, and I package. My company will work with someone for $70,000 a month down to $700 a month. So that's a wide range.
Yeah.
But when I meet with someone and they want to improve their visibility, they want to improve their business, I don't just shut the door on. A lot of firms do that. They have like this minimum. Oh, sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, I say, okay, if I can scale it down a little bit, it's better for the client to do something versus just kicking back or just giving up, saying I can't do anything. So I try to make it as affordable as possible. But it's one thing you have in today's world, which is the topic of this video. In today's world, you have to invest in your digital media, your overall visibility, hands down. Because you know why? Where's everybody going on?
Yeah.
Like where's everybody's attention?
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
The phone.
The phones.
Everybody's
oh my God.
on their phones. Look around. You're at a Starbucks. Just look around. You see people like this. They're waiting for their latte.
Dude, we had a little get together here, and I pull out my phone and I recorded the entire audience. Everybody was on a phone.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Everybody was on a phone.
One
Hey,
thi-
and I'm like, guys, we're trying to talk to each other here.
One thing I can't stand, I see it in the city a lot in Boston. I always see this move right here where it's someone, they're not holding it with one hand. They're holding their phone like this and they're walking fast, crossing streets, and you see cars cross. Like,
By.
you
Yeah.
saw, and,
Yeah.
and you're like, you almost get scared. You get scared for them and you're like, oh my God, because they're not looking at the road.
Yes.
That's my only issue with it.
Yeah.
Is try to keep it safe.
Yeah.
Be safe when you're walking around.
Yeah.
Like when you're texting and walking, make sure you're aware
Yeah.
of your surroundings.
Folks, and the things that we're talking about today is how you can tap into that attention. That's where your customers are at today. So a lot of the things that we're talking about here today is how you can tap into that attention. It's all about getting people's attention to look at your company, the services that you offer, the product that you're looking to put out into the marketplace. Awesome. So Andy, we've talked about the name,
Okay.
the importance of consistency between your domain, the usernames within the social media accounts, right? So we have that in place. We hire somebody that created our logo. Our social media accounts are created. What's the next step?
The next step is to identify who you're trying to provide your product or services to.
Yeah.
And then you need to figure out, based on the current market, where are you priced? So I'll give you an example. My firm's pricing is in the middle. I always say we're the middle bowl of porridge, like the old the fairy tale, whatever, the children's story.
Yeah.
We're the middle bowl of porridge. We're not too cold. We're not too hot. We're priced fairly. We do not price gouge.
Mm-hmm.
So I've talked to other people that do the same exact thing as me, and I cannot believe what they charge their clients. And I've seen people on the other side of the spectrum where they're just
too little.
I'm like, how are you even surviving? Like,
Yeah.
just recently, had a small business. I won't say the name. They were ready to sign on with us, and there's a business owner, and then there's like a business director. The business director is really savvy with business. He's combed a bunch of marketing companies. He chose us last minute. The owner, who's just about the business operations, he's real passionate about the operation side. He's an expert at what they do. He doesn't really get involved with the business side, the marketing, the financials, all that stuff. He went ahead and hired a girl to help with social media for $10 a month.
$10 a month?
Okay, let's replay that silence. Hold on. $10 a month.
Wow.
So in this industry, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, of course.
If someone comes to you with a really low ball offer like that, and they're like, I'll do your internet marketing, there's a lot of those people around that, I don't want to say they prey on people, but they sort of come in and they make claims that are almost impossible for one person to do. And at the end of the day, they're a jack of all trades. When someone comes in at a really low price for internet marketing, you step back and you try to figure out, okay, what's the average hourly rate that someone needs to make? How much work am I going to actually get for $10 an hour?
Yeah.
So you have to use common sense. You have to figure out, okay, what am I getting? How much experience does this company or person have?
No, and the consumer, the customer, they can pick up on that when something's too cheap.
Yeah.
Some people will do it because that's who they are. They're cheap. They think they're saving money for their company when there could be money being spent in other areas because that job wasn't done correctly. And in pricing, knowing your numbers, I cannot stress this enough. If you're a small business owner and you don't know where your money is going, you're going to be out of business.
Exactly.
There's no way of sugarcoating it. You're going to be out of business. And I tell you this because when we started 3 Seasons, we actually spent dollars in looking at what's the market, what's the minimum that we can sustain, but at the same time, be able to pay our guys, pay the bills, pay insurance, trucks have maintenance and so there's a lot of little things that are going to come into consideration when you are looking at pricing.
Yeah.
And if you just wing it, the amount of people that start with a lot of energy and they want to get their business going, they know nothing about pricing. Well, in our industry, we call those low ballers.
Yeah.
But low ballers, they don't last.
See, we did the opposite. Usually people who just started out, they come in low. We actually came into the market really high because the market, actually when the market crashed in 2008, there was a sudden surge of people looking for help because the market went down. Everyone's struggling.
Yeah.
The smart businesses were reaching out to companies like us. So our company had an instant trajectory, but we came in high, but we didn't really know. We were like, okay, we took our costs, we figured in a profit, and we need to spend this much on marketing. So when you're trying to set your pricing, make sure that the money that you charge is not just enough to cover your costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there
That's
needs to be a
just basic
percentage.
business.
Yeah, there has
Basic
to be
business.
percentage of profit. Yeah.
But not just enough to cover your costs, but also pay yourself.
Yeah.
And then also reinvest back
into
in the
the
business.
Yes. Yes.
So you set your pricing that way,
Mm-hmm.
and then also you want to make sure your costs aren't too high. You don't want to get the cheapest help. You don't want to get the most expensive help. You want to get the help that's just right, that's suitable for your business at that time.
Fine. Yes.
So as your business prospers and grows, then you can acquire higher level talent. I was able to secure one of the best search engine optimization teams in the United States after a few years in building my book of business. I could never afford some of the people that I brought on back when I first started. So you have to do it in phases. You set goals for yourself, and you do it that way. But in respect to pricing, you have to understand first who you're trying to sell to. So for me, I sell to small to medium-sized businesses. I will work with a Fortune 1000, a Fortune 500 here and there. I don't discriminate. I'll work with a sole proprietor that works out of their home. That's a consultant.
Yeah.
As long as they want to improve their business. I don't think I've barely ever told anyone that I can't work with them other than, I've done a few charity deals where I helped out a student. I helped out a student that graduated Berklee School of Music. She was a music instructor, music lesson teacher.
Yeah.
And she was tight on cash.
Yeah.
But she had a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
And she had a lot of talent. And I believed in her business. So we did a ton of internet marketing, SEO, all that, help her with social, all that stuff. And then she blew up. And then she, her dad owned a flooring company. He got wind. He came to us. Hey, then he became basically a regular paying client.
I'm a big believer in karma, man.
Oh, yeah. And so we did a great job for him. And then his suppliers came in.
Yes.
Now they're a client. So that one good deed that we did to help that student, and actually Berklee School of Music wanted us to come out and speak to the students about how to use the web to build your career. Yeah. Because there's a ton of people out there that you hear the term starving artist.
Mm-hmm.
People.
Yeah.
So I was trying to give them some inspiration on how to use the web. So if you know how to play the guitar, start a small lesson, start some classes. Put it online, run it on Facebook, spread the word, get people to register.
Dude, something came to mind since you mentioned that. Listen, I don't care what you're in. If you teach, if you talk, we're always selling. You're selling your friends and family on your ideas. You got to sell your product. You have to get it in front of people. And what we're really talking about here is sales. This is what we're talking about. It's getting in front of people so you can promote your products and services. And that could be anything. So don't think that you don't need this. You need to be in front of your people so you can make sales. If you don't make sales, you can't invest back into your business. If you don't sell, you cannot invest back in yourself to continue to develop your operation. A bunch of ideas are coming to mind. Stuff that I want to continue to implement in our business. So we got the name down, social media, all set up, ready to go.
Yep.
We took into consideration the colors, We're about to hit the market, right? Social, to my understanding, requires a lot of content.
Yes.
Something needs to go out on a fairly consistent basis. Pictures, quotes, quick video, blog posts, right? There needs to be a flow of content to maintain that social media liveliness of all of those accounts. Someone that's just starting out, usually it's selling, it's doing the operations, it's doing the finances, it's developing the business, right? It's doing all of these things.
Many hats.
Many hats, yeah. And now we're trying to add more to-dos, right? Introducing them to some of these marketing ideas. So for someone in that situation, or let's say they're a small business, they have 10 to 20 employees, right? They don't have anybody dedicated to this. Give us some ways that the average consumer can start to create a habit to put content out there.
So,
or am I going too ahead? And
well, I wouldn't say consumer. I would just say the average person that's trying to start a business.
Yeah.
In respect to marketing.
We have all of this set up. We have all the social media accounts, right? But we haven't talked about the website, which for me, in my business, is my online salesperson.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think it's something that's very important.
That's your home base.
And there's a lot of people that does not have one. A lot of business owners,
unfortunately, yes,
that don't have one.
Yeah.
Let's get into that.
So your website is your home base. It's your way to communicate. It's your way for your potential customers to validate. It allows your customers to learn about you, your company's mission, what makes you different than your competition. Sometimes you have savvy potential buyers that they're going to compare you to 2, 3, 4 other vendors. So you want to make sure that you are expressing your company's philosophy and values and what value you're going to bring to the table for them as an end result on your website. So to neglect a website is a recipe for a disaster, even if your website's dated. So websites sort of are like similar to fashion. So you'll see a period where fashion changes, web trends change just like fashion. So based on our research, we see that 2 to 3 years is a good time, a good run for a website before redesigning it. If you fail to do that, you have a group of people, and I don't want to segment people, but there's a group of people from the early ages of the internet, say, mid-90s, who felt that, oh, I have a website, I'm all set. They think that internet marketing is getting a website and hosting it. Those days are over. So having a website and just hosting it and then leaving it there for 5, 6, 10 years, 15. I've seen people with 15-year-old websites, and you talk to them and they're like, yeah, I don't understand what's going on. My business is dipped. I used to do really well online. I don't know what happened. And I pull it up and there's like a little dancing image on
a little
it.
HTML thing.
Yeah, and there's a picture. Oh, sorry. There's a picture of a truck like opening up the hatch, like going like this, and it literally looks like something that you would see in like 1994. Insane.
I'm getting AOL flashbacks.
Yeah. So I've actually spoken to businesses that had those type of websites, and they'll say to me, I'm not looking to buy a website. I don't need a website. I just need business. I need leads. Okay. And to get into some sales here, in order for a website to work in your favor,
people got to find it.
It is a sales tool. It is a sales tool. You are communicating. In order to sell, what you need to do is you need to connect with someone during the research phase of the buying process. That's the phase where people do research. If you connect with them at that point with some good content that answers some popular questions, makes them feel warm and fuzzy about doing business with you, most of the time, because you provided them that value, they're going to want to do business with you.
Yep.
Now, if your website's filled with a bunch of platitudes, it's dated, or you look like you're operating out of your backyard, I've seen really good businesses that had horrible brands, horrible names, horrible logos, but their offering, like what they did, was amazing. Yeah. And I'll sit with them and I'll go, and I have to be very careful about how I deliver the message. I never want to insult anyone. I don't like to be condescending. So I'm more of like a consultant when I meet with somebody.
You're too nice, man, because I'm real. I'll tell them straight up. I'm real. Yes, man, because the website, it's an additional salesperson. We have, I'm going to give you a statistic about our business. Because of our website, about 30% of our customer base, we've never seen. Something came through an email. They fill in a little form on the website. Yeah. Something came in through email. Because, and this is why it's so important for you to have systems in place. When you think about 3 Seasons lawn care and landscape maintenance, you think about outside work, you think about yards, you think, right?
Yeah.
Outside, you think you have to send people there.
Yeah.
Because of the use of our website and technology that we have in place, we don't have to go to a property because we know our business. Yeah. And just based on time, based on the size of the property, we send them a quote without even looking at the property.
Okay.
There's a little button that they can hit approve. When it hits approve, it automatically goes into our schedule and we're good to go, right? Mm-hmm. About 30% of our entire customer base, we've never seen, we've never talked to, but they're in our schedule and we get paid every month. That's the power of having a good-looking website that's working for you at all times.
Exactly. Now, I do want to touch upon when you build a website, there's a couple key areas that you need to focus on.
Yeah, no, Andy, and today it's all about a quick overview of the things that you need to have in place, because I would love for us in later episodes getting to the how-tos.
Sure. Yeah.
And the things that the website needs to have, what needs to be above the fold, and why things are in this area and not this area, and the psychological, how the way our brain works and where the eyes go on the website, right?
All right.
So
high level.
Yeah. So, but today it's all about the basic things that you need, and then we'll
I
let people.
I was about to geek out on you there. You're like you're getting too technical.
And it's just something that I love, man. I'm very passionate about all of this. I get really excited. Having you here means a lot to me. It's a topic that's dear, close to me. I'm a sales guy.
That's same
deep
here.
Bottom end. I'm a sales guy. I love talking to people.
What was your first sales job?
My first sales job.
Even if it was prior to working for a job, what's the first time you fell in love with sales? I'm just
no, I'm going to tell you. I grew up on a farm. My first enterprise was selling the milk of the cows to small restaurants, individual people. I did the sales and milked the cows.
Wow. How old are you?
Man, let me tell you how young I started working. And I'm very thankful to my granddad that taught me hard work at a very early age. So back then, everything was done by hand, not like today. There's some suction things, sucks the milk out. No, but that day it was by hand. And we had this piece of rope to tie the legs of the cow. We call that la manea. Yeah. So I was so young, probably about 8 to 9 years old, that I used to fall asleep on the back of a motorcycle. That's how we used to go to the farm from where we used to live. Yeah. I was so young, and my grandpa, I grew up with him, didn't leave me at home to teach me hard work. He used to tie me with the manea to him so that if I fell asleep, I just hang there. That's how early I started my entrepreneurship adventure.
Wow.
Selling milk.
My first sales experience ever was I wanted to buy a toy. I can't remember how old I was, but I remember being in the mall, I think with my mom, and I wanted a toy, and she said no, and I knew that I need money to get the toy. So I was at the bank. I think my mom was doing a deposit or something at the bank. I was really little, maybe 4 or 5, and in the 80s, so there was these pencils that were near the deposit slips. I grabbed the pencils and I waited for people to do deposits, and I'd say 25 cents.
Wow, dude, I gotta give it to you.
And I
gotta
think
give
I
it
had a
to
little
you.
bit of money. My memory's very foggy from then, but I think my mother wasn't too happy about that. But that's the first time I knew that you can control your destiny with sales.
I've never been in a job that doesn't have a sales component, a commission component.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never. I probably was early on, but I was probably there for a week and moved on.
Yeah.
I've always had a job that my input determined how much was going to come back to me.
Yeah.
I cannot stand a job that I know that I'm going to work 40 hours and I'm working for X amount of dollars per hour and I know exactly what I'm going to make at the end of the week. I hate that type of structure.
Yeah, but that is for some people. Some people
Yeah.
prefer that, the
No,
stability
this-
and stuff. But
this
people
is
like
my
you
personality.
and I,
This
yeah,
is just-
people like you and me, yeah, we want to.
I want to have certain level of control. I need to have some KPI, some key performance indicators that I can tweak.
Yes.
All right, if I make more calls, I get more appointments. More
a numbers
appointments,
game.
more
Yeah.
exactly. So I need to have some levers that I can tweak to make my business within whoever I'm working with. And that's how I always look my sales jobs. This is my little business within so and so. And what do I need to do to maximize my compensation?
Exactly.
I'm all about maximizing my compensation. And we got a little bit.
That's how you do it.
I'll
No,
try that.
but here's the thing: sales and marketing are closely related. And I have thought about this. I didn't read it on the web. I didn't study anything. This came out of my brain. Is that marketing, digital marketing, traditional marketing, whatever it is the seed of a sale.
Yeah.
So you cannot have the sale without marketing. Now, what is marketing? Marketing is something as simple as giving someone your business card.
Yep.
Marketing is something as simple as saying, hey, I work for XYZ company and this is what we do. I think we can help you, verbally saying
Yeah.
it. Marketing is also going online, finding everybody in a 30-mile radius that lives around your specific business, and then making sure that they're homeowners.
Yep.
And then you push your content related to landscaping services to that specific group of people with a landing page to get them to register and take action. That's digital marketing. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get that sale without the marketing. So always look at sales and marketing as hand in hand.
In order for you to sell, you need leads.
Exactly.
And the only things that bring leads, it's marketing.
Exactly.
Marketing. And I'm just doing some things here. The hub of everything, it's the website.
The website is the central location where you bring people, which allows you to get your clients to do what you want them to do, but also provide them what they need in order to make the decision that you're hoping that they make. So you got to be resourceful. You got to have a good user interface.
Yes.
You have to have a great user experience. You have to have great communication. It has to be an overall enjoyable experience for the person to be on that website.
Yep. In your industry, the call to action,
CTA,
the email,
the invitation.
There has to be something to draw them in.
That's one of the most critical elements.
Yes, and just a little plug here. We are going to talk about all of these individual topics through time. I don't want to get this one too crazy, but we have the main hub.
Yes.
We talked about Facebook. We talked about Twitter, Instagram.
You got Pinterest.
You have Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, right? So we have all of these things. Should they live by themselves? Because you made an analogy with a pomegranate, opening it open, and everything, bunch of little things talking to each other, interconnected, right? Everything, it's creating this engine, right? All these little pieces. So should all of these things work independent from each other? Should they all be linked back to that central hub of the website?
Well, it's all based on your time and your budget constraints. So if I have a client that's really limited on budget, but they're motivated and they know they need to do it, then we're going to try to work with, let's say we create one post. I'm going to try to take that post and convert it so it's native for the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to get too technical, but you want to make sure that the posts that you're creating for social media are native, meaning it's appropriate for that platform. So you don't want your Instagram style post being published on, let's say, LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to make sure that it's appropriate for the platform. But then if someone has a strong budget and they want to create totally unique posts and content and all of that, they can do that also. So again, there's so many different types of groups out there that want to, do better through digital marketing. We just have to make sure that it makes sense for you or whoever. It makes sense for them financially and time-wise. So time is a huge asset that people have to sacrifice in order to build their business. So say you're bootstrapping it, you're starting a business, you got your logo, you got your name, you got your website. Now you need to start building out those social profiles that you reserved. Well, now you need to create content that you think, not what you think. So some people create social media posts, and this drives me crazy. Stop creating social media posts that are constantly selling. I know sales is good, but for social media, you have to sort of provide information, compare things, give industry news. Yeah.
No, I believe.
Yeah, the whole
because sales has changed because of people being on the phone all the time. It's not like it used to be. Somebody knocked on your door, and that's the only thing you saw. And if they opened the door, you had to close them on the spot. That was the goal. If somebody opened the door, was to get a form signed of some sort, some kind of commitment. If somebody opened the door, but in today's day and age, people are more savvy, and they don't think about a business first when they go look for a service. They think about what they need, and they put that into the search engine. Lawn care. And the companies that are doing what you just said, just selling with their content, those get weeded out right away as a spam. The ones that are going to shine are usually the ones that will put something along the lines of 5 things that can help you create the most beautiful value.
Present value. Help people.
Yes, value. Andy, so I'm just going to go through some of the things that we've talked here, man. And just because of time, I'm glad that we're going to continue the conversation. There's going to be a lot more topics that we want to bring in. But we talked about the business name that you definitely need to have. Your website is a must, followed by at least the basic social media platforms. Yes. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the basic, most common ones.
So your foundation should be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest. If you have something that is specifically visual,
like
let's say you sell something. So if you sell something where there's a variety of choices, clothing, different designs are available within that market, that product offering, then you want to go with Pinterest, because that's where people can, hey, I like that design. And that's a really important thing to pay attention to, is not all social platforms are right for all businesses.
So, going on that. So, the importance of a lot of these things, talking to each other, but you have to create that content that best fit that platform, right?
Exactly.
Andy, so we talked about the name, we talked about the website, we talked about social, right? Let's talk about now how people find you.
So intent-based marketing is search. So a search engine is when someone goes online and they have an intent. What, when, where, why, who. What is this? How much is this? Where is this? Why is this? It's when someone reaches out, they typically have a question. They're looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
With search, you want to do everything in your power to make sure that you're there as a result when someone's looking. There's a few options. First, everybody knows about, which is the easiest way to show up on a search engine, which is paid advertising, also known as AdWords.
AdWords, yeah.
Basically, you select the words that you want to be found for. You do some research to make sure that there's a good amount of people that are typing in those words. And you can decide, okay, which words you feel will bring in a good enough of a size audience that you hope will translate into leads or sales. The caveat to that is it's every time somebody clicks, it's going to bill you, or it's going to charge your credit card X amount of dollars or X amount of cents per click. So you have to set that budget, pick the time of the day or the geography or whoever you want the ad to show. The other way to show up on search is the Google local listings. So if you're a local business, like a landscaper,
Yep.
and you want to dominate Southern New Hampshire, you want to make sure that your Google page is set up appropriately first, has the right meta, have the right descriptions, the photos, just set up in a way that you are as relevant as possible, so you hopefully show up better in that local listing. And then the other way to show up on search is organic search results, which is right under the Google local. So you have AdWords, pay-per-click.
You have the AdWord, which is that paid. You actually paid to be on top.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we have the organic.
Have Google local, which is technically organic.
Yep.
And then you have the just regular your website result showing up. Sometimes pieces of content will show up, but you want to make sure your website's there, and if you are a local business, that you show up locally.
I have an example. I just typed in lawn care Manchester, New Hampshire. Guess who's number one?
Who? Not bad.
3 Seasons, lawn care, and
All
landscape
right.
maintenance.
There you go.
This shit works, man. This shit works. And if you can see it on the screen right here, number one.
Nice, man.
This shit works.
So everyone asks, how do you achieve it? This is very important. So if you want to show up organically, which is natural, you don't have to pay for the clicks. The byproduct of creating content, multimedia content, videos, graphics, text-based media, maybe some audio, creating and publishing content, making sure your website's structure and the content itself is relevant, everything's organized, and making sure that you're active on social, and then making sure that your website is popular. So I always give people this analogy. This analogy will sit with you forever. If you want to understand what Google does from a high level, not going to get too technical, but for everybody, the masses, to understand how important it is to have a properly organized and structured website, picture going into a grocery store. You're a Google bot. You're a person. You go into a grocery store. You want to buy coffee. What do? You go in.
Yeah.
You look at the aisle.
Yeah. Which one is the one with coffee?
You look at the aisle.
Yeah.
And you say, coffee, tea. Okay, I'm going in this aisle because it says coffee. You walk into the aisle the same way that the Google bot goes into your page.
Yeah.
Looks around. It tries to validate. So if your title tag or your aisle sign says coffee, and your title tag of your website says, say you're selling boots, it says boots, Googlebot goes into the page. You go into the aisle. I'm giving you an analogy.
Yeah. No, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Let's say it's all cereal in the aisle.
Yeah.
What happens?
I'm gonna walk out.
That's exactly what
And
happens.
in my head, I'm gonna select that aisle that is no good for coffee.
And you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to leave.
Yes.
Now, when Google is looking at your website, and again, I want to make sure that everyone that's watching understands that I'm trying to have you understand why it's important to have an organized website. So if Google goes into your page, you have to make sure that the content is all relevant. So you don't have a page about boots, but you're talking about umbrellas. That's great and all.
Yep.
You love umbrellas, but you just diluted the focus of your page. You want to make sure each of your pages on your website is focused, laser focused on what you're trying to sell, a product or service, but on that specific. So let's say you only sell one item. Well, let's dig into maybe if there's different varieties of the items. Let's talk about the applications of the item. But you want to make sure that that page, like just like that aisle in the grocery store, has the contents, just like how your page has the content that's relevant to what was described in that title.
Because if the things don't match, Google will give you a low ranking.
Yeah, they're organizing websites based on relevance.
Relevance, yeah.
Relevance, organization, popularity, social reach, all of these things.
Backlinks, is that still relevant?
Yes.
I'm just talking about
popularity.
Stuff that
So your website's popularity, there's a ton of strategies out there that work. I always tell people, if you want to build the popularity of your website, there's 4 different methods. You have the bull by the horns approach, you have the hopes and dreams approach, you have the blue chip approach, and then you have the spammy approach. There's 4 popular ways to build your website's popularity. The bull by the horns approach, I'm a big fan of. It's like guest blog posts and connecting your website to other sites that have high DA, domain authority, have a lot of age and history. Then you have the hopes and dreams process. I see a lot of marketers that go to a lot of conferences and stuff, and they're scared to do anything else. They'll do the hopes and dreams approach. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not putting it down. But when you're in a business where you need to hit your goals and you're creating content and you're just kind of sitting back hoping people engage. Okay, now, and I'm talking about organic here. So if you're hoping people engage your content without any big social push, you're going to be sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
That's why I call it hopes and dreams. So let's say you create some kind of resourceful guide on, how to organize your closet. And that guide is resourceful. So you'll have a ton of people linking to it. That, which I call the hopes and dreams approach, it's good, but it shouldn't be a one-trick pony. Like, you should do other things. Diversification is key with digital marketing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Look at multiple tactics all together to form a strategy. Never put all your eggs in one basket. Never just do one thing alone. So after the hopes and dreams, you have your blue chips. So your blue chips are like backlinks on Forbes and Wall Street Journal or whatever, big names, typically expensive to get published on there. Then the spammy form of boosting your website's popularity is, with this joke in the office, we call it donut SEO, where you could sit there and eat a box of donuts and you're doing your SEO. So like automated websites that have like link farms that automatically connect your web. Stay away from it. Do not get sucked in. Not all link building is created equal. When I'm speaking to a client, I don't use the industry term link building. I use the term making your website popular, website popularity, because they understand it. Because if you say link building, they're like, what? What's that? And then social reach, just make sure you're active on social media and make sure you're creating content that people are going to share.
Makes total sense. And
then the byproduct of all of that is better search visibility.
People can find you.
Exactly.
People can find. Just the same way I did nothing to do with my business, just the category that I'm in, something that somebody will actually search for. And because some of the things that we're doing with Andy, you saw it, #1 on a Google search. So they found me. Let's get into, and let's see if we can mix these two here around content and intelligence.
Sure.
What do you mean by that?
So content is what we use to communicate. The same way that we communicate with our mouths, or we're communicating on a phone, or whatever. Online, we only are limited to four formats of communication: audio, video, graphics, and text-based media. So text-based media is the text that's on your website, the content writing on your press release, or your blog, anything that's written. Your graphic, your image-based media, graphics are infographics, photos with text overlay, or whatever you're using on Instagram. So anything that's image related. Then you have your videos. Here we are today on video. And then you have your audio. So audio, you can do a podcast, things like that. Anything that someone listens to is audio. Those are really what we're limited to for content. They're the forms of communication. Now, how you use that content is up to the person, and you want to adjust things based on your specific goals. But that's really the meat and potatoes of what is going to get someone to become engaged with your brand. is your content.
Because when they find you, and they're looking at your video, or they're reading that post about whatever they're searching, it has to be sticky.
Exactly.
Like there has to be something in there that when I read the first few lines, will want me to continue to read the whole thing,
Yep.
and potentially click on some kind of send me more info, or get me an estimate, or call me back, or something. So once that content it's in place, and you mentioned intelligence.
So intelligence is sort of, you don't want to just go in blind. You want to make sure you gather some information about your specific market, your customers, who you're selling to. Like, what is the average, like for my business, the average company that does X amount of dollars can afford, let's say, to hire an ad agency for X amount annually. So there's like somewhat of a formula, statistic average. So you want to gain intelligence on who you're going after, how much they can afford, what are some popular pain points that they have, like what are their challenges, and then how your product or service is going to fill or solve those problems. You got to gain that intelligence, and then you also have access to, say, social media intelligence about your customer. So in today's world, when it comes to marketing, you can pinpoint exactly who you want to see your content.
Stuff, yeah.
You know, they're any demographic, so age, sex, location, their interests, their hobbies, what they're talking about, whatever. You can actually pinpoint now.
And especially if you're spending money to get that traffic, some of that intelligence, it's quite helpful.
Yeah.
To those conversion rates, especially if you're paying per click.
And there's some other real stuff that makes your hair stand up, like this big data intelligence that marketing companies have access to. I've seen some of this stuff, and it's mind blowing. I get reports on what people are talking about, and it'll send me in real time. You know, XYZ chief marketing officer has been talking about finding a new search partner, or wants to enhance their social media presence. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was on a forum or what, but there's some crazy stuff out there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's big data. It's huge, man. This big computer machine, it's pulling information from your cell phone, your activity on your computer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're tapping into your Easy Pass. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
They're tapping into.
That's also what marketing companies, or whoever, have access to. We have access to that stuff. So, like, whatever you're talking about, and you have Facebook Messenger on your phone, you know, if we say, hey, we want this ad targeted towards people that want to buy cargo shorts, that ad's going to be shown to them. And I use the word cargo shorts for a reason, because I was one time driving by a store and I said I needed cargo shorts, and no lie, I got an ad for the shorts. And yeah. No.
And
So
I was gonna make kind of let people, so they can look out for these little things. When you search for anything and then you go to a different website, those ads all of a sudden are either an Amazon thing for something that you were searching.
That's retargeting.
Yeah, and a lot of things start popping up. And I've had scary moments where I don't remember in any way, shape, or form typing anything related to something that I said. That I said, and it shows up somewhere. I go, shit. Somebody had a mic open on my phone.
When it first came out, when that technology was first really producing, it was a little creepy. But now I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
Really, in a real, whenever someone asks me about a marketing tactic, I always try to give them a real life example of how it could be applied and present value for them. So for retargeting, the thing that you mentioned, if someone's on their phone and they're on your website, and then, like, say they have a child at home and they drop something, they become distracted, or say they're at work and their boss comes and they're distracted. They put their phone down. Chances are they forgot about your website.
Yep.
Now, if you have retargeting in place, next time they're online, it's like a friendly invite to come back.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah. Awesome. So here's how I would love to close this conversation. Look into our audience. From your point of view, and you were going into this with Pinterest and some of those things, give them a quick 1 minute, what they call elevator pitch, as of why they have to start thinking or implementing some of these basic marketing techniques today.
Because if you provide a good quality service or product, the only way that your clients are going to know that you exist is if you are able to be found online. There's too many good businesses out there that can't be found, or they're not visible, and then they wonder why they're struggling. So if you have a great product or a great offering, take your business to the next level and go where the attention is, go where the eyeballs are. Get yourself out there on social media, allow yourself to be found on search, and not just to be found. Make sure when you take people to your website, take people to your content, basically where they're going to land, make sure that you're providing some substantial value that helps them make a decision. Position yourself as the expert that you are. You know, if you sell a product, you know, tell people why would this phone be better than the next phone for them and their needs. So just focus more on the customer and try to be as least salesy as possible. Be more of a, you know, someone that's going to help them, and you'll be very successful in today's world. And that's in today's world.
Awesome. Andy, thank you very much, man.
All right.
And guys, this was just another talk with Diego.